Welcome to Family Twist, a podcast about relatively unusual stories of long-lost families, adoption, and lots of drama. I'm Corey.
And I'm Kendall, and we've been partners for over 16 years.
We're very excited about this episode because there are some parallels to Kendall's journey. And we want to introduce sisters Michelle and Trish. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Yes, thank you for having us.
Now, it was a 48-year journey for you two finding each other, correct?
Yes.
Before we get into the story, I just kind of want to know, to kick things off, what was that first face-to-face meeting like, seeing your sister for the first time in the flesh?
Yeah, I invited Michelle to lunch after we chatted online and I checked her out on Facebook. I invited her to lunch and I got there first, sitting in the booth. It was that feeling that you have, the night before the first day at school, or like Christmas, like when you're 7 years old and Christmas morning, like I had butterflies in my stomach. I didn't know what to think or what was going to happen, or, I was super excited and nervous all at the same time. So when she slipped into the booth across from me, she looked exactly like our dad. I mean, his twin. And our dad passed away in 2004. So I'm like, oh my God, it's like a ghost just sat in front of me, because she has his eyes, same color hair. There's so many things about her that looks just like our dad. It was like seeing a ghost. And then, I'm like, yeah, that's my sister. She's proof. She's living proof. It was pretty crazy.
Same. I had butterflies too. I didn't know what to expect. I was super excited to meet her and she was really sweet, invited me to lunch. So I sat down and looked at her. I was just like, wow. I could tell she was my sister. I could just tell. We started talking and we literally 48 years of catching up in 2 hours. So we were talking about everything. We didn't even take a picture of us. That day we got back to our families and they're like, okay, let's see. And we're like, yeah, we got nothing. No picture. We just were so busy catching up. No photo.
Yeah.
We definitely take way too many selfies, but that's okay.
You two are in Vegas, but let's rewind, going back to California.
Yeah, I kind of had a really crazy road. My mom had me and she had 5 kids altogether. I'm number 4, all from different fathers. Luckily, my brother Michael was close in age with me. He's 2 years apart. So we went through everything together. Everything that I went through, he went through at the same time. So we were taken away from my mom when I was 6 months old. What we think happened is that, stepping back a little bit further, is that our dad, which is Trish and I's dad, was with Trish's mom and she was pregnant. And then he somehow simultaneously met my mom, stepped out, got her pregnant, but then went right back to her mom. So he was never in my picture, period. We never knew about him. So I was born, and so my mom was a mess. My mom was a mental train wreck, I guess. She was not even capable of caring for herself. So luckily, somebody saw some crazy things going on and reported it. So we were taken away from her when I was 6 months old. She would visit us. We were in foster care, orphanage, all that kind of stuff. And both Michael and I. And then we were finally adoptable at age 4 because they gave her time to get her stuff together. She couldn't. So we finally went to live with an adoptive family when I was about almost 4. And they 3 years later, ended up adopting us. So I never knew anything about dad ever. And I kind of knew my mom when I was a baby, but nothing really. And so that's how my upbringing started. And then I just grew up in a cute little Jewish adoptive family, which is wonderful, but it was different, right? Kendall, it's amazing and you're blessed, but at the same time, who are my people,
Yep.
And so you wonder.
Did you remember that you had other siblings other than your brother?
You mean because I was one of 5? Okay, so oddly enough, no, because my older 2 were much older than us. They were 19 and 20 when I was born. And then I was number 4. But crazy story. One day my brother Michael is 2 years older than me. So he had 2 years with them where I didn't. I was 6 months and then taken away. So he had a little bit more memory. And so one day when I was about 6 and Michael was about 8, we were walking home from school at our adoptive family's house. And we passed by this gentleman. We walked by him, he walked by us. And Michael turned around and he turned around and he goes, Michael, Michelle, who's our brother? And we literally just passed him walking home. And so we told him, he's like, where are you guys living now? And we were so little, but Michael said, oh, we're living here. Come on. And he brought him home to our adoptive family. And my adoptive family was like a little bit freaking out because this was a link to our birth mom. And they, of course, didn't want them to know anything about where we were and our location. And so he swore to secrecy and he never did tell, we don't think. But we got pictures with him that day. And they just remembered each other. Michael and Jack was his name. And so that was kind of cool. So we got to meet him. But he ended up passing away like maybe a year later. And then my older sister passed away. They each died when they were 20 and 21. And so I don't think I ever met my older sister. And then my older brother, I just remember that one interaction and that was really it. And then I have a little sister who got adopted to another family and that's a whole nother story. Craziness.
That's the name of our podcast is Family Twist. And it's because every family's got one.
Right. It's awesome. I love that name, by the way. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys are doing this. So neat.
We love it. Yeah. It's giving us an opportunity not just to share Kendall's story, but to share other people's stories and just kind of figure out, like, how did you navigate this? Because we don't always feel like we did everything the right way. I mean, not everybody's going to move all the way across the country after meeting the family for 1 week.
That is so awesome, you guys. So awesome. So, Kendall, you and your dad and your mom, you now have a relationship?
I have never met my birth mother. I've never spoken to her. She has one other son and two daughters. And my half brother on that side, we text mainly around birthdays, and I am close to my sisters. In fact, the sister that's right under me in age, she's coming out this month, going to stay with us for a week. And I don't know if people ever say like soulmates for siblings, but I mean, she and I really connect. It's kind of bizarre.
It's beautiful to witness, to stand back and see this happen. It's been a few years now, but it's still, I'm like getting a little bit choked up because it's just to see this bond that they have. And, they've been able to spend weekends and weeks together, here and there, but probably only maybe 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
They're just close and just their eyes just light up when they're in the room together. And it's great.
And we do physically favor, she is not bald.
Oh, thank God.
Exactly for her. But no, I mean, we do favor and it's so cool to watch each other and we pick up on things. It's just, it's kind of amazing.
Trish, while this was happening for Michelle in California, what was life like for you? And where were you?
Yeah. So I grew up with my mom and my dad. And I had 2 brothers, one a year older and one a year younger. So we were all very close in age, like 1, 2, and 3. And both of my brothers were born in California. I was born in Michigan and I never knew why until all of this came about. But yeah, so we lived in Southern California with my family. And then we moved around a little bit, but always with my dad and my mom and my 2 brothers. So I never knew that there was anybody else and I wasn't searching for anybody. I know that I always wanted a sister, but I never thought that was ever going to be a reality, So I grew up with my 2 brothers and my mom and dad, and that's what I knew.
How did we get from that to the DNA test?
So when I was 21, a brother reached out and located our dad. His name is Ken Foster. So I met him when I was 21, and I think he was a couple years older than me. And I met him briefly, and then he just went away or went back to wherever he came from.
Did your dad even know that son was out there?
Yeah. So that's how I met him. He was at my dad's house. And then that's when I met him and found out that I had a brother. I'm like, okay. Well, to be perfectly honest, when I was 21, I wasn't real receptive to a sibling. That's how I met the first brother. And then we never spoke ever again. I'm like, oh, you're not my brother. And I was 21 and immature.
Trish, were your parents still together when you met Ken?
They were divorced. Yeah, they divorced when I was 14.
Okay. Was 21 when you found out that there was even a half sibling? That was the first inkling that it happened, existed?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was kind of upset with my dad. And, it was like total mixed feelings. Like I didn't know how to react.
Was a possibility of there being more?
No, I never ever asked. I never imagined it. I never wanted to even think about it,
Right.
because I grew up with my mom and dad who were married and together and happy, we thought, Yeah, I'd never even imagined it. And so I went on with my happy little life and, pretty much and without ever even questioning it.
Michelle, did you start looking for possible siblings before the advent of, affordable DNA technology?
I did, yes. Kind of throughout my life, I always wondered, and thought that there has to be somebody out there, but like Kendall, nobody ever came looking, and I was like, well, I mean, though there must be somebody out there, am I the only one that's like wondering, or, it was a little bit sad. Like, where are they? Don't they wonder about me? And so you just shelf it for a while, because you have to move on with your life and your, great feelings and positive feelings rather than negativity. And so you'd go a few years and then maybe something would trigger, oh, no, let's try again. But I didn't know much. Like Kendall's birth name, he had a little bit more to go on. My birth mom, used a ton of like aliases. Like, so I was looking for one name where it was really this name. And so that was tough. But I will tell you that my little sister, the youngest one, so sibling 5 from my mom, who was also scooped up and adopted to another family, by that time, my mom had lost all 5 children because the older 2 were passed away. Michael and I were taken. And now Joni, the youngest, was taken from her immediately, when she had her. So super sad for my mom, I would imagine. But because she loved us, she was just like not okay. Like it wasn't bad feelings toward us. She just didn't have it together. She just couldn't mentally and for whatever reasons, I don't know, but she couldn't just keep together, but she did love us. When she was in the court fighting for Joni, which is child number 5, she said in a court of law, I hope when she's old enough, she can look for me. And because of that statement in the court, my younger sister's file was now open. So she could find out anything she wanted to about our mom. But I didn't know her. I didn't know my sister either. So when I met my little sister, Tony, for the first time, which is when I was like 30, she told me that. And she's like, let's, kind of try to find her. Well, our mom had just passed away, like within a year of us finding each other. So that book is shut. And so that will never be. And that's okay. I then went on because I was 30 then. And Joni and I didn't really connect in the way that Trish and I do. Like, right, Kendall, you've got a few siblings and there's your soulmate, and then there's ones that are just your half sister, or your half brother. And so that's how it was for Joey and I. Like, I immediately, because I'm just a big soul and I have a big heart, and I was immediately like, sister, I love you, and it wasn't reciprocated at all. So that didn't work out the way I planned. So that was a blow also, right? It was my first ever finding of anything. And so I just kind of totally shelved it for a while and thought, it's just not ever going to be. Fast forward, I guess 18 years, because I was 30 then. So 48, I was dropping off my son to college in Michigan. We were setting up his dorm and everything. And this one trip, everybody was going to head back and, do some final details. I was just kind of, tired. And I thought, I'm just going to hang back here. So I just kicked my feet up and the TV, I was just chilling, and on came an Ancestry commercial. And I thought, you know what? It's been a few years. I'm a big girl. I'm okay. I'm going to brush my wounds off and see what we can figure out here. So I did it. And life changing. Lo and behold, I had no idea what to expect. And craziness. I get the website, I load my profile picture, and then all of a sudden in one day, boom, all these matches. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, who are all these people? I didn't know. So I kind of tried to start dissecting through the website and figured that Ken Foster, who my sister just told you about, that called and met her or them at her age 21, he came onto my site, was the highest DNA match. And so I thought, okay, that could be a pretty good link. So I reached out to him through the website. And I just said, hey, my name is Michelle. I was born in 1970 in Southern California, LA. I was adopted. I don't know anything about birth family. Is there anything? It seems like we're a really high marriage, that kind of thing. I just put it out there and sent it. And he responded pretty quickly. And he said, oh, by the way, our profile pictures, when I put them side by side, crazy resemblance. I knew that he was my brother before he even told me. I said, he's my brother. I could see it in our eyes and just his coloring, and it was crazy. So that was my very first, interaction. And anyway, he wrote me right back and he said, hey, does the name Lee Morgan mean anything to you? And it didn't, because I was adopted. And I said, no, I'm sorry. And he said, well, based upon when you said you were born and where you said you were born, he was in that area at that time, and he's my father. And I think he's your father as well. And he said, welcome to the family, sis. I felt welcome. Like, we talked very little bit through the website messenger or whatever. And then he said, I think our sister Dawn has some more information, because we have another sister back east. So he put me in connection with her. I was texting her a little bit. And then one of them said, wait a second, it shows here on the site you're in Las Vegas. And I said, yeah. And they said, there's 3 more of us out there. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. I live in Vegas. Wait, they're here? What? No. And yeah, so she linked me to Trish. And I think I sent her a wave on Messenger, and we started talking. And that's how it happened. Really.
Trish, how did you and your family end up in Vegas?
We moved around quite a bit, and then we just landed in Las Vegas in 1978. I have been here ever since. Yeah, when my dad got a job here, he was working with Toyota, and then he went on to Nevada Power. Yeah, we've been here since 1978. A long time.
And Michelle, when did you go to Vegas?
1994.
You raised your kids in Vegas, both of you.
Well, born and raised.
This part I find very remarkable. Somehow they were in high school together at the same time.
Yes.
Crazy is we were both pregnant at age 29 for the first time together. We were both pregnant at the same exact time. So we have our oldest child, they're the same age. She has her son, Justin. I have my daughter, Jessica. And and then they ended up both going, there's a lot of high schools in Las Vegas, and they ended up both going to the same high school, Coronado High School, and graduating the same year. And we were at the same graduation.
We found that out at that first lunch. And when we were just, we couldn't believe it. Like, we probably could have passed each other, perked by each other, we're in the bathroom together. I mean, who knows?
Both enough pictures from the graduation, same time at just different angles, and showed each other. Like, wow.
That was trippy. When we learned that, we were at, because we started like thinking, where were we? Same times, where did we work? We tried to but that was the biggest one that we could put together, that we pinpointed.
And what do cousins think of this discovery?
What do the kids think?
Yeah.
Well, funny thing is, my whole family, I have 4 children, and Jessica's my oldest. And once I told them all about, finding a sister, everyone else was pretty okay with it, all the other kids and my husband. But the oldest, Jessica, was pretty leery. She's like, that sounds fishy. I don't know, Mom. Be careful. Just worrying about me. And then the same thing and the same child happened with Michelle, right?
Yeah, Justin, everybody was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I'm so happy for you, when I first started telling them. And they were so excited, except for Justin. He's like, really, Mom? A sister? Super protective. And they're our oldest. So they've known us the longest of all our kids, and they love us, and they don't want to see us hurt.
Right.
And so they were leery, yes. But then when they met my sister, all of them, they were like, okay, she's okay. Because you don't know. Like, they think, what do they want? Are they after something? I mean, you doesn't know. And so when they met her and see how similar she was to me, it's just an extension of me. It's my sister. And they love her. They love Aunt Trish.
Yeah.
What kind of similarities have you discovered?
We fit together like a puzzle.
Yeah. Literally.
We finish each other's sentences. We wear the same size shoe.
Yeah.
We say the same thing at the same time. So many similarities. We're both bold, and we're kind of on the edge as far as rules go. Like, we don't like to be told what to do. Like, okay, you guys are all going over there. We're going to try this way, so what else, sister?
We are both rebels. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're big time rebels. We're literally the same person. We have a lot of where we're not similar in certain things, we do our own things. But there's so many that were identical. Like, literally the other day we were talking to our brother on the phone, and we were on speaker. And he said, bye, sisters. We'll see you later. And we just both said bye, like in the exact same tone at the exact time.
Yeah.
Just like we were singing a song together. Like, but we do that all the time.
When we both noticed, we're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And almost daily, we'll say something about something random at the exact same time. It's crazy. It's like we have a mental, we're not twins, but we're only 5 months apart.
Yep.
And so we're super honed in on each other, and it's crazy. It's so insane. Yeah. We're so similar. We both have really big hearts. We like to give. We both love kids. We're, similar parenting styles, and we're just good people. We're the same. It's amazing.
Talk a little bit about the real estate connection and how the Sisters Selling Vegas was born.
So I went to school. I had just finished real estate school. I went with a friend of mine, and then we met. And she's been a realtor for 25 years here in Las Vegas. So it was like the stars were aligning and preparing me for what was my next step, because I went to school and I'm like, I don't know if it's for me. I really don't, I interviewed some brokers, and it seems like I don't know. I really didn't like any of them or I didn't connect with any of them. And I wasn't sure what my next step was. And then I met my sister. And then there's my next step, right, sister?
And I said, sister, so before I ever Facebook Messenger with the wave, she had, like she said, she looked me up, and so she knew I was in real estate. So in our first conversation, she was like, oh, so I see you're a realtor. And I said, yes. And it's, like forever here. It's what I do. And I asked her what she did. And she told me she just finished. So I kind of had that in my mind that she had just went to school. So when we met, I wanted to know more about that. Like, are you pursuing it? What are you doing? Because I know this business in and out. And I knew that if that was a direction she wanted to go still, that I was, going to help her. She said that she went to school with her best friend. And during real estate school, they teach you to go after, to market your sphere of influence, your people, your friends, your family. And they had the same sphere, her and her friend. And so she was so sweet. She bowed out to let her friend go. And so as not to get in her way and not to, infringe on her ability to, succeed. So sweet and so selfless. And so I was like, wow, that is amazing, but you're coming over here with me. So we're not going to impede on her. We'll let her work your guys' sphere. We got our own thing going on over here. And so I just took her under my wing, and we just went, and we've never looked back. And she's amazing. She's a really good realtor. I've been able to give her my 25 years, in a year, a crash course. And so she's amazing. And we're Sisters Selling Vegas. We do commercial, we do residential, we help the entire valley. People love our story. They inevitably find out about it somehow, some way. And now it's on the news, and now it's kind of everywhere. So now they really know. But even at the beginning, somehow, some way, they would just find out. Like they would say something like, who's older, or something to the effect of sisterly. And it would come out like, wow, we actually just met, and
they would talk about what did you guys do growing up? Or some sort of question about how it was in our house. And we're like, what house? We live in different houses.
Yeah, we actually just met. And then they couldn't believe it. And then they want to know more. And then they're clients for life and friends for life. And so it's been an amazing partnership in every way.
Everybody loves our story, and we're grateful to share it.
It's an awesome story. Hello. I hope you're enjoying this conversation with Michelle and Trish. Kendall and I can't believe we're already up to episode 13 of the Family Twist podcast. And we'd like to ask a quick favor. Take a look at your phone and go ahead and give us a rating if you haven't already. We'd love 5 stars if you feel it's that good. Ratings help podcast platforms decide how many people see the different podcasts available. So a review would really be doing us a favor. Okay, now back to the episode. Thanks. I am curious, Michelle, are you still close with Michael?
So close. Yes. We just talked yesterday. He's my only blood relative that is ever up until, very recently when I met my sister. So we're really close. But what really sad for me is that when I did this a couple years ago, I could see in him a little hurt because we were all we had. And now I've got all this, and where they're all my new family, they're his family because
Right.
he's through my mom
Right.
and my sister's through my dad. And so he right away did his ancestry and nothing. And so that was a little hurtful, but yes, Michael and I are very close. I love him. He's amazing. We were 2 kids, to give you a little tidbit. We have in some paperwork that always traveled with us from foster homes, that we were clearly retarded and mental and all kinds of things that we were just kind of written off. And so he has gone on to the military and retired. He has a full retirement from the military. He did amazing. He's also a retired firefighter. He's amazing. So I'm super, super proud of him.
He's an American hero. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, he is. And he's amazing.
Yeah. He's a good person. He's a super good person.
Well, and I love that, that Trish says that about him too. And that's what I found in my family is that when my mother's daughter visited the first time, she connected so well with my dad's son. You know what I mean? And it was just fun. I have a lovely picture of them in our kitchen, when the first time we were all together. It was just amazing. And they are friends on Facebook.
And through you're the link, and they both love you. And so that other person must be amazing and awesome too. And so they give them a shot where they may not have elsewhere. And so it's all new connections, all blessings. So many blessings.
Yeah. So when I first met Michael, I was like a little concerned or worried over how he was going to take me because I know how close, that him and Michelle were. And here I am coming right in between, or it may seem, and so I was a little worried about how he was going to take me or if he was going to like me or, I didn't know. And
He loves you, sister.
yeah, he loves me. He loves me. First he was like, I don't know about you, but now he loves me.
He does.
I love her. Yeah.
It's amazing. And I was the same way about my sister's mom because if you think about how it all happened, our dad stepped out on her to go with my mom. And so I'm the result of that. Of course I had nothing to do with it, but I feel a little, responsibility there, I guess. I know I shouldn't, but I do. I'm a human being, and she was amazing when I first met her. She took my shoulders and she said, Michelle, she said, well, I loved your dad. He was a really good person. I still dream about him. They still ride motorcycles together in her, mind. And she said, I love you. You're his daughter and I love you, and so it was amazing.
Yeah. I have a similar feeling from my father's ex-wife, my sibling's mother. When she first met me, she knew about me. She knew that dad had the son out there. And she hugged me and she's like, oh, you're the baby we always wanted to find.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, because his dad had always been honest and, wanted to find me, whereas my mother was the complete opposite. Her husband knew about me, but my siblings on her side did not know I existed.
I'm so happy for you that you have been able to find your family. It's amazing. I know firsthand what that is like, but each situation is unique completely. And there's it's like web. It's it's all this after, and it's so amazing, life changing, right?
You're exactly right. And I've said this before on this podcast, but when I turned 40, I don't want to say I'd given up, but it's I've done everything I can do. I don't know how, I kind of just didn't think I'd ever really get to find it. Yeah. And then, as DNA technology started becoming more popular, thank God for Corey, because Corey was like, gotta try this.
Good job, Corey. Yeah, you're lucky you have that guy sitting right next to you. I'm going to tell you, I can see the love there. And wow, what a support system.
Well, it's, I'm a journalist and it's it's the story that's still nagging at you, after all those years. That's kind of how it turned out. I thought, it was probably a situation where it was some young people who couldn't raise a baby and unfortunately gave you up for adoption. Kendall had a wonderful life with his adoptive parents. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. They were 15 and 16 and then it just didn't make sense to try to raise a baby. But then to find out they're still alive and he's got 6 siblings and again, all these nieces and nephews and cousins. It's pretty wild.
It's gifts. Yeah, it's gifts from above. I mean, it's such blessings. And we have to say that it happened when it was supposed to happen. You weren't ready perhaps at 20, maybe 30, but now is your time, and it's just when it's right. Same with me, right? Like I tried, I kept hitting walls, and you hit so many, like for me too. So I was 48. I wasn't really looking for life changing anything. I had a pretty good life with my cute little family, adorable, wonderful aunts and uncles with my adoptive family. I mean, they did a great job, but something nagging. And so at 48, that's when it was right. Yeah, I would have loved to have my sister when I was pregnant. I would have loved to have her, when I got married and all these other things, but that wasn't the time. The perfect time was when it happens. And that's, you just have to roll with it and just put it all in God's hands. And when he feels you're ready, that's when it's going to happen,
So our motto in life is, well, we missed the first 48 years together. So we're going to make the most of the next 48 years. So we're going to work to be able to work together, have fun together, raise our families together, and live life together, shared life.
Yeah. Blessing.
Yeah. And to be mothers together at some point, right?
At some point, yes. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we see like older ladies and we can tell they're sisters, and I'll say, sister, that's going to be us. We'll probably live together at some point when we're older. But yeah, it's so much fun. Blessings.
Yeah. My brother, Chris, the one I first connected with, the local brother, he and I always laugh and say, I owe Corey and he owes his wife, Karen, so much because it was both birthdays in 2017 and Chris's birthday's in February. So he had submitted his back then. My birthday's in July. And so when we first connected, he's like, what took you so long? I did mine 5 months before you. And I was like, what? That's when your birthday was.
That is awesome. Do you see a lot of similarities with you and your half siblings too?
Yeah. I mean, physically, yes. Yeah. He definitely know that I am politically different than most of them. Yeah, I'm on the far left of the spectrum and most of them are not, but it's been great. There are some things we just don't talk a lot about.
You agree to disagree, but you still love each other.
And then you just talk about the things you can.
That's right. And you just don't even touch that topic again, ever. You learn it and you move on, right?
Is you've been able to tell your story to a lot of people, especially now that you're working together. How many of them have something like, such and such has had a similar situation, or what? How often does that happen?
We hear that all the time. It comes up, right, sister?
Yeah.
They'll say, oh my goodness. And then they'll just start telling their story. And so that's amazing because it's not something they would probably normally ever talk about. And so it's really good for us. So we've been able to kind of help people in that way to get it out and, verbalize it. Which sometimes
it's okay to talk about, and it's, a painful secret. And here we are. We're, Sister Silly Vegas because thankfully our dad did step out on my mom. That he did.
Right. You're in my
because she adores Michelle,
I love her too. Yeah. So Kendall, did you say you did Ancestry as well? Was that the site? Okay. Because here's what I've heard. Tell me if you feel the same way. If you were on, let's say, 23andMe, but your brother was on Ancestry, you would never have linked, right? Because there's different sites and they don't speak yet. Maybe some, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I get it. That's, you've given your saliva to them and it's theirs now, but it's been wonderful.
But what you do is Ancestry does allow you to download your DNA tag or whatever sequence. Yes. Yeah. You can there are databases out there that are not associated with either company that you can add it to and find out. And that's when you see all the cousins, and that's when you figure out creature related to all that stuff.
Oh, gotcha. So that's a way to link the different sites?
It's a possibility to do it that way. And we've joined, a bunch of the Facebook groups about, found families and DNA and genealogy and stuff like that, just to, one, research for this podcast, and two, just to see, what other people are doing and how they're finding out. I did Ancestry, and same thing. I matched with some distant cousins that I already knew about. So there wasn't anything. And mine, there might have been something. So
Right.
it could be. Maybe they just haven't done ancestry yet.
Right. That's right. So we found out that on dad's side, we are one of seven. There's seven of us, which again, I grew up with just Michael, right? It was Michael and I. So I'm one of seven on my dad's side. And well, I knew I was one of five, but we didn't really, on my mom's side, I didn't really know them. But anyway, I have like 11 siblings now. So crazy. But had our other brother, Ken, not done ancestry, this would have never happened. Never. I could have been I did it and okay, there's just, nobody else. And so it had to all align. It does. It has to all completely align. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
About that a lot because like my sister that I saw today, she has never, she's never submitted her DNA. I mean, the only way we would have found each other is through my brother,
right.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah. And I never would have submitted mine because why would I?
Right.
Family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And now it's really cute because now she did do hers. And boom, there I am, the first one that pops up. And we're the highest match. Sister and I, we have the highest match of anybody, even our other brothers. Yeah.
Feel about the whole situation?
How do what?
Your brothers feel about how this all came together?
Oh my gosh, they love her. They love her so much. At first, my younger brother in the military, he was a little skeptical. Him and I are like this. We are, so close, like probably Michelle and Michael. We've always been very close and he's very protective of me. When I told him, I'm like, there's a sister. He's like, I don't know. He was skeptical of me meeting her and I met her and I told him, I'm like, she's great. You're going to love her. He's like, no, I'll be the judge of that, and he met her and oh my gosh, he adores her. He loves her so much. I mean, and our other brother absolutely loves her. And he's like me. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's pretty open to, if I love her, he'll love her,
And then you guys found that there are three others?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
From before?
Have our sister Dawn, who we love, and we haven't met her yet, but we talk a lot. And then there's Ken, and we think there's another brother named Kent. So there's three more that I haven't met, but my sister did meet Ken when she was 21. He was a little out.
Right.
And they both live, Ken and Dawn are probably the two that we're going to be able to meet. And they live in like New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So we're hoping to, maybe get back there and meet them, or maybe they'll get out to Vegas.
We already had a scheduled, we were going to go out there in 2020 and meet both of them. And then, bam, COVID. We had to postpone that, but we're looking forward to meeting both of them.
Yeah. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Did they have the same mother? Did they grow up together?
They don't, and they did not grow up together. Yeah. So I think there's 1, 2, 4 different mothers with these 7 kids. Our dad was busy.
Ladies loved him.
Yeah. And I wish I could have met him. It's crazy that I'm the one that looks like him, the one of the ones that never got to meet him, but I see pictures and I see so much resemblance. It's so crazy. And it's so nice to finally see, right, Kendall, like who we look like. That is such a big piece. It's such a simple thing to most people because it's natural to them. They are raised with their families. But for those of us that weren't, oh my gosh, that's amazing. To see people with your similar features, it's so, like, you can't explain it, right?
Well, it's true. And, I said I'm from a really small town. And of course, everybody knew when my parents adopted me.
Okay.
But you've got my dad who was black hair, really dark complexion. My mother, my adopted mother, who was red haired with alabaster white skin. And I was this little strange looking child with blonde hair. You know what I mean? Like I didn't either of them, but we were just the poster children for the blended family, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Same with us. My parents, my little adopted parents were 5'1" and 5'2" in terms of height. I'm 5'6". My brother's 6 foot.
Wow.
And we say we were the black sheep. We look nothing like them. We're, blue eyes and blonde. And they're this, Jewish family. They all have dark hair and dark eyes and really short, like the old kind of like mob style looking, and then there's us, blonde and blue eyes. So it was, what do you do? And what it was, and it was blessings. But to see like my sister and I are so similar. I can't even explain that, how amazing it is to know where it comes from, where I get that from. And like, or she'll ask me, sister, do you want to do this or this? Or how would you do this or whatever? And I'll say it and she'll say, of course you would. And that's exactly how she would do it.
Sure.
They do that all the time. And that's awesome. To see why we are the way we are. It's a huge answers to a lot of questions. Inexplainable, right?
It's important for people to hear because there might be that like they haven't pulled the trigger on doing the ancestor test yet because they don't know what. And we know not all stories turn out as yours, but I'm sure there are hundreds out there that did. There are people out there that are looking, and it just gotta, when you're ready to do it, take that step.
Yeah.
Do it. Yes. Because otherwise you have the burning questions and it weighs on you a little heavily, and it's always that what if, and you have these questions. So I say no matter what you're looking for, if you're okay with your life, if you're looking for a change, whatever, when you feel the right time, you just do it. And whatever the results are, they are. And you're still an amazing person and you're still you. And so either you'll find some things to complement what you're already doing or not, but just do it because you never know what you may find.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, if you end up having a big family reunion in Vegas, will you please invite us?
We would love to. Absolutely. And my son is in Maine going to college, so we go to Boston sometimes when we're visiting him. Maybe have coffee with you guys or something.
Would be wonderful. Yeah. Maine is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So keep in touch with us, guys. And we'd love to see you and meet you in person and talk to you guys if we can ever answer any questions or you just want to chat. Definitely keep in touch with us. You guys are adorable.
Thank you. Our town is literally on the edge of Maine and New Hampshire.
It's beautiful back there. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I love it. So pretty. I'm so happy that you guys moved back there and that it's all working out, and I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you. Same to you, Michelle, Trish. You guys are wonderful. What a great story, and
Thank you.
Seeing you two together, it's just like, wow, well, this is perfect how this ended up.
Yeah, it really is. It's our story.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us, you guys.
Thank you.
This is the Family Twists podcast hosted by Kendall and Corey Stultz with original music by Cosmic Afterthoughts and produced by Outpost Productions and presented by Savoir Faire Marketing Communications. Have a story you want to share? Visit familytwistpodcast.com. All our social media links are there as well.